And the question that comes to me on a broader scale is, when you're killing it at something, when you're really good at something, and you're not quite ready to leave, but you're not ready to keep going in that direction, how do you communicate to people in a respectful way without getting fired the same day that I'm not quite, I don't even know. What do you call it? How do you tell people no?
So I didn't. Okay. Because you're right. This is tricky. So now I've got a business on the side that they think they're aware of. They just think it's a hobby.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it was. It was a hobby.
Yeah.
So they're like, great, do your little thing. That's great. But now I'm starting to feel like I might be able to do something over here. And I'm being tapped for opportunities. Like, they're having conversation. I'm being called into the boss's office.
Right.
Let's sit down. Let's talk. Right?
Sit down
how
in
it
the
goes.
big chair.
Yeah. So I play along because I'm not stupid.
Right.
So I act like, okay, yeah, maybe. But all the time I'm now I'm seeing the picture for what it is. I'm like, oh, they want me to excel here.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm in it. So now I have to back up and I have to do some internal searching and evaluating to say, what do I want? And so I prayed about it because I know, I'm like, this has been building now for 24 months. I'm like, what is it? We know what I love, right? I've always loved this. As I look back on my life, I've always been a designer, decorator, a creative. What is it that makes me feel tied over here where I know I'm feeling like I'm putting a square peg in a round hole. So I came to the conclusion that it really was this perceived security that I had at that job. Remember, I'm brought up by boomers from the deep South.
Right.
Who look like me. So they kind of positioned it like this is the way to success.
Yeah.
Right? That's all they knew. That's all that was available at that time. And so it took a lot for me to come to the point where I'm like, I don't think I want that version of success. So after praying about it, I said, you know what? It's that I don't feel secure enough to support myself on this other side.
Right. So
I said, okay, well, what would it take for me to feel secure in supporting myself on the other side? And I'm ruminating over this on vacation. And it comes to me that if I had enough time to really build the demand and the brand and to get what I would call my ducks in order, pay down some bills, stash some money away. I think I could, I'm smart. I could do this. And then how long would that take for me to so I'm going through this in my head. So it was revealed to me that 3 years, 36 months would do it. And I'm like, 36 months. I can do it. 36 months. That's a long time. At 36 months, I could do a lot in that length of time. So I put in place, I called it Project 36. And it was my 36-month exit strategy.
Wow.
To corporate. And on January 1st, 2013, I said, 3 years from this day, I'm leaving this job. And I started at it. I called a financial planner. I said, I want to leave my job in 3 years. I make this much. I owe this much. She's like, let's go. She said, I need you to do this, and this. And I need you to do it every month without fail. And you're going to check in with me quarterly, and we're going to see where you are against these goals. I'm like, okay. And now, again, I'm an achiever, so I'm a rule follower. She told me to do it.
Done. Consider it done.
Yep.
So tell me this, because you said you prayed. So, and I'm going to talk facetiously but do you mean to say that sometimes when you pray, God don't answer right away?
Okay.
And you got to ruminate and you got to...
This story can go so many different directions because I am a big time bona fide Christian. And so I've left that part out of the story.
Yeah.
But God was working with me from the very beginning. From the time that those people were coming to my house and saying, you should be doing this for a living. I actually was in a Sunday school class at the time where we were studying the purpose-driven life.
Wow.
And in that book, Warren talks about how you really should be attuned to the things that people recognize in you. Like, what are the things that people say, oh, you good at this. Like, this is your thing.
Yes.
Like, you do this like nobody else. That was the thing for me. And I heard it over and over. And then there'd be a sermon that would talk about, stepping out on faith. And, and then, like, during those 2 years where I was just blogging and this was a hobby, I was getting opportunities. Like, the time I was doing budget design. And so I would go to Goodwill and Restore, and I would hire my upholsterer, and we'd revamp these pieces and we'd put them back in the house, and they looked fantastic. So then Goodwill of Southern Piedmont reached out and was like, we want to partner with you. And then Habitat reached out and like, we'd love for you to be one of our ambassadors. They had me on the 5 o'clock news talking about revamping furniture, and I work at a corporation. So there were signals.
I have spoken for.
Yes. There were signs along the way that I was going in the right direction because door after door after door was opening, and I was doing nothing to make it happen. Like, no maneuvering whatsoever. Yeah. It was just like there were crumbs along the trail.
Yeah, yeah.
So by the time I got to that prayer, I had already been being prompted. So it was, that prayer was just me confirming what I think God had been telling me all along. But I knew the timing was important.
Yeah.
And I mean, timing is everything.
Yeah. And so then after the prayer, you went into plan.
Yep.
I love that because you're doing both. It's like I'm being spiritual and this sort of thing, and I'm listening to these unexplainable things that people are saying about me that I didn't prompt them to do. They're doing this on their own.
Yep.
Okay, I got that part. Now I'm moving to the work part.
Right. Now I got to do my part.
I got to do my part. Let God do his part. You do your part.
Yep. So I got 36 months. I'm hired the financial planner. I'm like, okay, check. Finances, she's got me covered. I told her the goal. We're on a track. What else? I'm like, I need to level things up because, like, this whole budget design is cute, but this is not going to replace my income.
Right.
So I'm like, what do I need? And all the while I'm watching everybody else like that I aspire to be like. I've now found people who are operating, who this is what they do for a living.
So when did you find those people? When did you find mentors or?
Oh, very early on.
Okay.
From the very beginning. From the day that girl said you should start a blog. I started looking at what are people who blog, what are the big bloggers in this space doing? Right. What do their blogs look like? What are they talking about? Where are they going? What's that conference? I never even heard of that. Again, I work in a whole different field. Right. So I'm learning. The whole time I'm watching them, and I'm really just kind of emulating what the people who I want to be like are doing. That's a tip. At my level. That's a tip for people. Yeah. Find people that you want to be like and begin to emulate. Begin to, I guess, I don't know, because people feel a way about, oh, should I copy this? Should I copy? Well, it's still your own. It's still original, but you got to find blueprints out there. 100%. Right? LeBron looks at Michael. Yep. Michael looked at Dr. J and so on and so forth. It's like watching the tape. Yeah. You got to watch the tape. Yep. Okay, I love that. So, and it doesn't require you calling them for coffee either. Like, sometimes you can just pay attention and do your homework. Ooh. Yeah, that's a whole other. Sometimes you can just pay attention. Talk to us. Yes. Talk to us, Cheryl. Pay attention. You don't need 30 minutes on the calendar. How about Google them and see what podcast they've been on. Right. And read what they've written about their journey. Yeah. And listen to their lessons learned. Yeah. Yeah. Catch it. Without being taught. What is it? More is caught than taught sometimes. Yeah, for sure. Okay, this is good. So you through the plan, is the plan working? Like, you're meeting with the planner, like so everything's going to plan? I got the finances, check. Yeah. Now I'm leveling up. So what does that look like? I hired a web guy because now I've got a blog, but I don't really have a website. Yeah, I'm like, I need a website, right? I need a legitimate interior design website. So we started working on that behind the scenes. I'm like, you know what? I need some relationships. I need to be in the room. So I started taking my PTO and I'm going to conferences that I see the other people going to that I aspire to be like. I'm like, I'm going to that thing next year.
Yeah.
And so I show up and I meet all these people and I'm like, I work at a company in food service. I'm actually a dietitian. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yep, but I want to do this. And I'm doing it on the side right now. And so I met all of these people who now are friends, but I learned so much from them and I operated as if until.
I operated as if until. That's powerful.
So
you're inspiring me right now.
So I'm now networking with the people who I want to be like. I'm learning what they're learning. I'm building my brand and business on the side, and I'm working on my finances. Okay. So these months are ticking away. I'm still going to class at night, right? I'm still going to work by day. I'm still blogging. I'm on social. Right now, I'm learning more about Instagram, and I'm fielding DMs from people who are like, it's all building. Before I knew it, it was 24 months. Before I knew it was 18. Then it was 12. These months are ticking by. My savings is building. My debt is going down. Like it's all coming together.
Yeah.
I look at the program guide for my interior design program at CP, and it just so happens, this is how God works, just so happens that the last class I need to finish my program ends at the end of my 36 months.
Project 36, yeah.
Also ends up that my current boss, is retiring at the end of my 36 months. So I'm like, oh, this is, At this point, I've gotten all the confirmation that I need. And so I put in my notice when there was 3 months left in Project 36. And on December 30th, 2016, I did a slow-mo video out of the glass doors at Compass Group. And I never looked back.